harder for me to get into Star Wars because since I lead more hard sci-fi, I try and like look for the little nuances and stuff. But then it's like, all right, well, how does a lightsaber work? How does the light know when to stop at the end of the length of the saber?
Right. Yeah, and again, like, yeah, that all that stuff does actually have, like, it has explanations, and it goes into exactly like what defines them. Because like I know this is from obviously reading and stuff like that, and even playing some of the games, like Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah.
Both those games are probably, without a doubt, the best Star Wars games ever made.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there's parts to it. So you obviously have like the crystal, which determines like
The color.
and then you have like the lens and like the emitter and stuff like that, which I think that those like components affect like the length of it, because there's definitely a and I think the crystal itself also does affect it too, because there's several instances in the books where people will have a lightsaber with two crystals, and they can switch back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And it'll actually change the length of the saber. So you have like a standard one, and then you have a button or something that switches it, and then it can like extend another like foot or something. So,
or if you combine them, it makes a different color. So,
yeah,
or
I don't know.
That's how it was in KOTOR, right?
I don't remember if it was. Well, I haven't played the first.
Also just specific colored crystals.
Yeah,
that you could use too.
I played the second one, the most recent, and there was like the crystal that determined your color, and then you could add like other crystals to like affect the stats on it, basically. But
yeah, just like little science fiction nuggets from Star Wars that like I understand that, oh yeah, it's science fantasy and I have to suspend some disbelief, but like if you start asking too many questions, it starts breaking down, and so it's like
and unfortunately The Last Jedi just had way too many questions. Like I don't know. I had issues. I had plenty of issues with it, but I mean, it's again, at the end of the day, it's Star Wars. I mean, I want to go see space battles and Jedi fighting and stuff like that.
Did you play the Battlefront 2 story mode?
I did. Actually, I went ahead and bought the game. I play it every once in a while. Do mediocre at it most of the time. I usually get like, double-digit kills, but I won't ever top the leaderboards or anything. I thought the campaign, like the story behind it, I thought it was all right. It was pretty predictable.
Sure.
I mean, you're like, oh, you're starting off as the bad guy. Obviously, you're going to end as a good guy.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert. But, I mean, I thought, like, overall, it was good. It was kind of a cool, different side. I mean, the most... And again, like they've done it through other media forms, but the most, I think, underutilized and ignored characters that could have like the best game or movie, honestly, is the clones. So the clone troopers, I think, have some of the best, because there was a game called Republic Commando. And it felt very much like Halo 2. But I mean, it was phenomenal. It had this really groundbreaking like AI squad system. So there would be markers along the map, and you could command them to go to these markers where they would set up as like a sniping position or like a grenadier position, or like a rocket position or something like that. And then you could also like run around and like, you could be like, hey, there's a turret gun over here. You jump on that one while you go over and hack the door to make sure it opens. And so it's such a good game. And unfortunately, I don't think it did very well. So the chances of seeing another one are very slim, but it makes me so sad because I loved that game and I loved the story behind the clones. Because they then came out with like a 6-book series on clones,
Wow.
like a not that Clone Commando Squad, but another one. And I mean, it's really good because I mean, when you come down to it, like the clones, obviously, like, you know, they had no choice in anything. Like they were literally bred to fight a war. And so this goes into kind of understanding them as individuals, because at the end of the day, they are individuals.
Yeah.
Like they all look the same and stuff, but they have their own individual personalities. And just kind of how that interacts with the rest of the world that's going on around them and the war. And I mean, again, that's what I want. I want like a hard, maybe not, but like a gritty R Republic Commando movie or a M Republic Commando game where, you know, they're just going in and they're just wrecking shop on people. But since Disney's Disney, I doubt that'll happen.
I mean, I don't know, that they can definitely let stuff like that happen. I mean, obviously we saw, yes, Deadpool is under like the Fox umbrella, but like it's still the Marvel IP. And so Disney can let stuff like that through. And so, and I mean, also with Rogue One, that I don't want to spoil Rogue One for those. I mean, forget what the program.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, well, you spoiled it. So the fact that they're willing to release a movie where like everyone dies is like, dang, that's not very you know, hey, pure heroism, the heroes always get out to fight another day. It's like, nope, everyone dies. It was great.
Yeah, and I don't remember if they said they actually had an even darker version that they decided to scrap or something like that, or maybe they had a lighter version where like some of them did survive, but they were like, no, let's go ahead and kill them all, because obviously you start getting into some continuity errors.
And then you have like, oh, where is this character now, and how come we didn't see them at this point in the
it's better just like, they're all dead. But no, like there's, I mean, if I would be so happy and content with life if they would just, if EA, but it's EA's
EA likes money.
Yeah, which again, I don't understand this either. If they would just come out with a Knights of the Old Republic 3, they would make.
They already own BioWare.
Yeah, I mean, they would make a stupid amount of money off of that. I mean, I would pre-order. I would buy every expansion pack.
Right.
I may even like drop money on cosmetics if they even like had to or something like that. I mean, those games are criminally good. And if they, again, it probably, I don't know. I mean, we're kind of post Call of Duty era, I think. Like, obviously those games are still coming out, but I feel like the ship's kind of sailed on the massive amounts of people playing. I mean, I know I don't play anymore.
In fact, I'm blanking on what this falls.
It should be Black Ops
4.
Yeah. Which I didn't know until like 2 days ago that there's not even a single player campaign at all.
Player, it's just
Battle Royale. Yeah. I can't stand how, and it's like EA, whenever they made that comment about like through their research, like gamers don't want single player narrative stories, and then like a week later God of War became like the #1 best selling game, and like or like it's like up for Game of the Year awards and stuff like that. And we're just like, y'all, you guys can't even lie or pretend good enough that you don't care solely about the money. Like but I just, That's all I want to see in life is a Knights of the Republic 3 and a Republic Commando 2.
Yeah.
If those came out, I might actually be able to die in peace.
All right, let's get to the actual reason why I wanted to talk to you, which is politics, because we'll turn into a bunch of angry boys. So we kind of talked about the core of the thing, which I also I'm not even fully like a full left leaning whatever, because there's the whole like classical liberal thing,
right,
which is more in the vein of like maybe not quite Jordan Peterson, but like Sam Harris. Like, yes, I want people to have freedom of speech, but also some stuff needs to be done to, I mean, let's get this out of the way. Trump, yay, nay?
I mean, I did not vote for Trump. I actually, when it came to it, I didn't even wind up voting because I didn't know enough about the Green Party or the
Libertarian.
Yeah, the Libertarian part or nominee to confidently vote in them. And I just looked at Trump and Hillary. I was just like, I can't in good conscience vote for either of them. And so I was just like, you know what? Whatever happens is going to happen because honestly, like, to me, I was just like, I mean, some things are going to change, but in reality, honestly, probably everyday life's not going to change necessarily that much. Like, I mean, if it does get bad, then in 4 years, we're going to have somebody new and we can get back on track with that. So I just kind of accepted like, look, either way, like it's probably not going to be great, but I'm just going to have to deal with whoever winds up in office.
Well, so here's the thing, and this is kind of a lefty talking point that's really annoying, but it's like, oh, from your privileged position, you don't understand the changes that happen in your daily life. And I get that.
Right.
And it's a silly thing to constantly bring up. But at the same time, I'm here on DACA. That does definitely affect my life.
Right. And there's a lot of, the hard part is there's so much, and even like Trump's own narrative is almost contradictory to his actual policies that he does.
No, definitely.
And so I feel like that's a huge issue. Like, again, like he does a lot of stuff that, again, there's good stuff he does, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, helping the economy grow. Like, I'm like, hey, like that's good. But then, you know, he'll make a decision. I'm like,
on that as well, but
yeah. But then he'll do something and turn around and be like, what? Like, why would you say that? Just like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, because and then there's stuff that, you know, one of the biggest things, fake news, like from this side, like, honestly, there is a lot of it and it's bad.
Yes.
But then he then turns that into anything negative as fake news, which isn't true. Yeah. Now, granted, unfortunately, the media does not help themselves.
No.
Because they just continue to do the same thing. They're like, we're going to push this narrative. Because honestly, if they would just stop like trying to force their narrative and just actually report on what's going on, there's plenty of stuff that you can disagree with Trump on. Like, that's more than enough to say like, just let him just do his own thing. And then you can just be like, this is what happened. Instead of like taking something and then like twist. It's just.
Right. Well, the narrative becomes Trump is evil and anything he says or does is bad. Right. Which is the same narrative that was for Obama in the opposite direction. And so, like, if you take that approach, then it's just like nothing that he does can be truly seen through an accurate lens.
Right.
But the other part is like, people are also not willing in the moment to stop the lies. For example, if at a press conference or like, press thing, a journalist asks a question and he gives just an outright lie. Mm-hmm. Someone should be like, hey, that is a lie.
Yeah.
And I literally just checked it through like 3 different sources because I have a smartphone and there's lots of other journalists over here that also have smartphones, and we just checked this as well. You just lied to everyone.
Right. And I believe like that should be the role of the media. Unfortunately though, they're instead of just like, again, their narrative is taken over any like, because again, if they just like went back to just reporting everything he did and just like did like, fact check and just be like, look, like here's the actual numbers,
right?
Like it's just what you said, it wasn't correct, but instead like I just see like a whole bunch of like more like personal attacks necessarily. I mean, not like fully personal, but again, there's just like a lot of outright lies by the media as well, and so like everybody's just like lying to push their own narrative, and it's like you're just like, no, like you guys are supposed to be, I mean, you guys are honestly like supposed to be like impartial and supposed to be there to keep him in check, and unfortunately like most of these people, like they're not news agencies or they're opinion pieces. And so I don't know, I try to avoid mainstream media as much as I can. Honestly, like one of the number one news sources I get now is the Philip DeFranco show on YouTube.
Oh yeah, Philip DeFranco's great.
Yeah, and so I mean, I know I don't necessarily. I'm sure there's several points that I don't agree with him on things, but like he's very apparent. Like he's like, okay, so this is the story. This is everything we know about what's happened. And then he'll every once in a while, I say once in a while, most of the time he'll like give his own thoughts about it. But then he's like, if you guys have something else to say, let me know. Like put it in the comments. And so, I mean, that's, and this is like, it's a YouTube channel, and granted, he's got a lot of people that works for him now. But I mean, like this is like how are you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you can trust a guy on YouTube more than you can trust either Fox News or CNN.
Yeah,
so
it's just.
But I will criticize you in that you share a lot of Turning Point stuff, and they are very obviously biased and annoying.
Yes, but I believe like they're very much apparent about that. They're like, we are a conservative group, and so they don't, because I mean, CNN claims that they are impartial.
Right.
I mean, Fox News. Fox News normally says that they are conservative generally. I mean, at
this point, there's no running away from it.
No. But I mean, yeah, like I think CNN is honestly the worst because they continuously try to say that they're like impartial. And I mean, you could watch for about 30 minutes and that's not true. But, no. And as far as like Turning Point, I haven't looked into a whole lot about their thing, but like normally the individual videos that I see that I'll watch and I'll listen to, I'll be like, okay, like, yeah, like I agree with some of this, or like, I think this is something that can help, like somebody can watch and maybe like they start to think about it. So that's why I'll share stuff like that.
But I mean, so I greatly respect Ben Shapiro, but he's not playing an intellectual game. He's playing a gotcha game. And that's something I really don't like about Ben Shapiro, is because he's not looking to have a discussion. He's looking to win arguments. And that's not helpful to the conversation.
I mean, I'd say yes and no. I think his position, and I think this is just kind of a general, maybe for conservatives overall, is that conservatism itself seems to feel like it's attacked a lot for being evil, I guess.
I would say more heartless, but yes, the most extreme people are saying evil.
Yeah. And so, I I feel like he's just trying to tear down those arguments against like, and that probably where it comes with the gotcha moment. So it's like, well, it's like you're trying to say like it's like, no, actually, like, you know, that's not true at all. Like
Right.
we believe that, again, like we were kind of talking before, like the core, I think the core fundamentals of the right and the left is on the right. It's believed that less government influence and more individual freedom is the key to a better society, while the left believes that more government assistance, I guess, and less freedom, but I guess technically more safety is the key to a better society.
So I disagree with that point even more so because so I would say that the truer definitions of like conservative and liberal at its very basic, it's like conservatives like less but also keeping things the same, hence the term conserve. And so to a lot of progressive change, the term progressive is difficult from a conservative point of view because things have worked fine in this way before, so why change it?
I don't know if that's necessarily I mean, I think that's kind of what it's become. Because again, I mean, obviously, like, you know, you have like progressive ideas. Again, like there's nothing wrong necessarily against progressive ideas, because I mean, you know, progressive ideas were, you know, what helped, you know, give women the right to vote, gave black people freedom and stuff like that. And so again, there's nothing wrong necessarily with change. But I think the misconception happens is, I mean, you can still give women and black people the right to vote, but still keep individual freedoms. Like, and again, I think, again, from conservative, like, and this is a lot of things that I mean, going through history, because I was a huge history buff growing up, you see just instance after instance of government overreach and tyranny.
Sure.
And so that's, I mean, that's something that I'm not necessarily worried that we're going to turn into, you know, Venezuela. But
born in Venezuela.
So,
and yes, no, like that's not me trying to ping you. I'm Venezuela's a shit show.
Yeah. But I see this stuff happening there. I'm like, these things are happening there. Like they're in other places in the world where they're letting the government kind of come over and encroach in on more and more aspects of their life. Like, and you can see like where it leads to. Now, again, not necessarily that we'd ever get there, but like you can see these steps that are leading to this somewhere where, you know, you don't have, where your choices as an individual get limited even more. Just why would you want to live in that kind of environment where, you know, and I'm going to be like, there's a lot of, obviously I'm not educated enough about, I mean, a 23-year-old college kid. So I'm more than aware that, there's a lot that I can learn. But as far as like the universal healthcare thing, I mean, the biggest thing that scares me about that is, again, that puts all control of it into the government. And so you are basically you've basically put your entire health in their hands. So they tell you where you can go, who you can see and stuff like that. Right. And so, and I think it's also a little unfair to like doctors as well, because, all of a sudden they're told you have to, like, you have to do this for this amount of money. And so, again, and this is where we can, I'm sure, like opens up a bigger argument into like the ethical standards of things like that. But again, for me, like as far as it starts to encroach on freedom and the right to choose, which I feel like is, again, I think freedom at the end of the day is the most basic fundamental thing that we should have. So,
okay. So, and which is why I find you to be more of a libertarian. That sounds more like
I very well could be. I honestly, I don't know.
Than a conservative point of view. Hence the way that I just explained conservative, you seem to not as much agree with that. But libertarian does say like, don't like as little government as possible.
Yeah.
So that we can choose for ourselves.
Yeah. Just I watched, it might have been a Ben Shapiro video, but it was a video that basically was like, actually, it may have been, I've done a couple, I don't know if you got PragerU.
A little bit.
It might have been a video they did, but basically they're talking about government control as only the necessities, which is basically just like defense and, you know, like law enforcement. And I mean, granted, you know, like there's other aspects. I mean, I guess you can say that they could get involved, but I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like if we could have, you know, a government that just, the closer we can get, I think, to a government that is there just to protect us and to uphold and enforce laws, I think does get better because, again, that gives us more of the freedom to choose and stuff like that. So again, like you said, I very well may be a libertarian. Honestly, I haven't. I don't know. There was actually a libertarian candidate that I did like. I forgot what his name was, but he wound up losing to whatever the actual nominee was. But I would have voted for him if he would have made it. Right.
Well, politics is a big dumb popularity contest.
Yeah, can we just burn the two-party system to the ground, by the way?
Yes.
Just,
God. So that's what I find more with you is that, so there's extremes of every kind of camp. And so the extreme libertarian camp is basically like, are you familiar with ANCAP, anarcho-capitalism?
Not really.
So ANCAP is kind of more like the bad example is Fallout. So have you ever played any Fallout games? So Fallout is like there's no government. The only thing that governs people is just this is where I am, that's where you are. You don't worry about me and I don't worry about you, and you just like lay off my property, lay off my things, and I won't shoot you. And that's kind of how ANCAP works. And so it's like, oh, hey, I need this thing. I will give you money and you can give me that thing. And if you don't steal my things, I won't shoot you and kill you. Yeah. And so it makes sense.
Right.
But it leaves a lot open for moral.
Sure. And I agree that that's where like, where you can put in standards and again, and put in laws and stuff like to help regulate. But again, I feel like it needs to be the bare necessity of, I mean, cause you obviously need to go and try to protect people from getting scammed and cheated like that. Cause unfortunately we live in a world where that's, like those people exist. People will lie. People will steal. People will cheat.
People like the president of the United States, who there was a recent thing that made it more clear that he has continually evaded taxes. In many, many different ways. I mean, and also money schemes and all that.
Who was it? Somebody. It was some famous singer. Was just caught evading taxes too, which I mean that's maybe another discussion as well, because I think
is taxation theft.
It's close.
You're a libertarian.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think I think it is right now because the government it's way too big and it's way too wasteful. So I think what they're doing, I mean, if they scaled back and again, we're providing, just the necessities to protect and defend us, I wouldn't have a problem. Because like that, I mean, like I'm more than willing to help, pay to help fund the local law enforcement. Like right. I'm more than happy to pay taxes towards that because they keep me safe.
Yes,
they keep you safe. Like they're
sometimes.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to. But like that's their role is to help try to protect society, and so I'm fine with doing that. But there's like, I don't know. There's just, and again, I'm not super well versed, but I know that there's just a lot of just so much wasteful spending. So right. I think in that aspect, yes, like there is a lot of theft, but it is not entirely theft.
Okay, so the major disconnect I feel comes from the bridging of morality and government. So. To the libertarian point of view, morality is outside of government. In that, you think it's bad for, a company to make a terrible product that they advertise as such, and then they end up poisoning people or whatever that might be. Let's throw a law on that, and that's sort of a moral regulation, if you will, because it's like you shouldn't do that, and whenever a government makes a should sort of thing, they're making a moral thing, and so it's like you can't kill. That's a moral claim. But then it gets even broader, and so with I like to think let's go with the social safety net. So morally, more conservatives tend to lean that, if you wind up homeless, that's your fault, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are people that do think that, which, I mean, again, I feel like you need to go on a case by case basis on that. One of the big things was obviously the housing crash. And I mean, technically those people did make those decisions to get them there. Yes. So obviously it is their fault because they made those decisions. The fault
is on both
sides. But I mean, yeah, you had the market.
The banks were clearly giving out terrible loans.
So it was again, it was their choices, but it was their severely misled and uninformed choices. So I mean, I think that there's and I think, and this is what I've heard from like Ben Shapiro, that it's more of like that kind of view should be, it's less of the government's job to take care of, it's society's job to take care of them.
Right.
So, and I think he's mentioned a couple times, I haven't seen the numbers on, but he said that from a lot of studies that like private party charities and organizations like that do more to help people that are, in the lower end of the spectrum, like exponentially more than the government ever does.
Sure.
And so, I mean, I
as of the safety net measures that the government has in place right now.
Right. And so I think from seeing that, I think like, yes, like that should be a good sign that we should support those private groups rather than trying to go through the government who, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, government sucks about it doing basically everything. And I think a lot of Democrats right now are thinking that kind of a point of view like, well, that's because it's not working. It's because they don't have enough funding. And
I don't know. I don't know where that perspective comes from, but that's not, I don't think that's the actual point of view of people who want more government in that sense. But probably the politicians themselves are saying like, no, we can do it right. Just give us more money.
Yeah, that might be it. And I mean, it also thinks like, and I don't know, this is probably going to come off a little bit insulting, and I don't necessarily mean it, but it's stuff that I've heard, and it's more of just something to think about that. I don't remember who said it, but kind of an argument against that is that wanting the government to come in and take care of, impoverished people and stuff like that, and like trying to fight for that, I guess, is almost like doing something rather than trying to do something to do a good to help these people. You're wanting to not pretend, but like do something to help you feel good about maybe helping people. So you're like, well, like, there's these people, and instead of, me going out and, helping them and giving money, we should get the government to do it. And, and that makes me feel good because, yeah, the people are probably getting helped, or at least I'm saying that I want the people to be helped. And, but the government they're the ones that need to help them. And again, like, this is not a broad scale for people, but it is something that I've heard that, that is kind of the psychological aspect behind it is that they think that they're doing something good, but they're really just doing something to make them feel like they're doing good, to make themselves feel better.
Right. But you can make that same argument for someone who donates to charity and assumes that charity
will
give.
Yeah, and that's very true as well. And so I think that I do think that it is a little bit different to donate directly to a charity because than just like saying like, oh yeah, the government will take care of it.
Right.
I mean, like, granted, because, if you don't realize that if the government does start to taxes increases, then you're not very intelligent. But
that goes back to the moral regulation. So in that, a charity, for one, isn't required to exist.
Right.
Nobody is required to start a charity. So we have to just assume that people will be good enough to make that happen. Yes. Luckily, there are charities that are private and they make that happen, which is good. But no one is required to do so. And for all every charity cares, every single charity could at once decide to just stop. And then all of those benefits that society has gotten from those private charities would go away, and there would be nothing to replace it.
Right.
So that's the thing about having private companies do things, is that no one is forcing them to do that.
Right. And I think that's why they can do the most, they can be the most effective and do the most good, is because they are making the decision that, no, this is what we want to do. And I mean, obviously, again, like, you talk about like, yeah, like they could just all of them shut down. And I mean, obviously we're getting into theoretical, but if every charity decided to shut down, I mean, society, I think society would just have a complete moral abandonment and it would just self-destruct. And I mean, and that's something that I think that also, again, like, going back to the left and right, like ideas, like I think, from what I've heard from right people is that their society should be in charge more of, again, taking care of the populace rather than the government. And so because you can rely on, I mean, honestly, I think, charities are more reliable than the government is. Just because, again, like you're going to somebody that said like, this is what they wanted to do with their life. Like they made the decision to help people as their thing. And I mean, I have a lot of respect for people that do that. I don't know if I could do it to that level. I mean, obviously, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, just it is society's responsibility. And I think we've kind of drifted away from that, or at least encouraging like individual.
Sure. That does come from a cultural point of view. But I also find that democracy has less of a chance to happen through more privatization. So a charity that, again, it's not responsible for obeying any governmental rules. They can give out money willy-nilly as they want to. But they also have their own rules.
Right.
And the populace doesn't get to decide what those rules are. The charity itself does, or whatever private company decides what those things are. And so the whole reason why a lot of former presidents like Teddy Roosevelt and Taft were trust busters is because you have these monolithic companies that have these monopolies over industries, and they have no responsibility to take care of anyone, only their own bottom line. And that's what we're facing now with companies that are violating Disney, but like Exxon, Monsanto, and all of the, these shadowy organizations that nobody really knows about, but tends to actually make a lot of money off of raping the earth. So those private companies aren't beholden to democracy. They're beholden to their own bottom line. And so by making charity, quote unquote, a government thing, it falls in the line of the people that require those services rather than the charity themselves making those rules arbitrarily.
So my counter to that would be, what happens when the government decides that they want to, let's say, only, I don't know, let's say that they came out and like only white people get benefits. So, I mean,
well, then the people vote. That's the whole point of the Constitution and a representative democracy.
But, and this is the part where but if you start to give, again, the government too much power over people, then eventually get to the point that, I mean, if the government ever came to a point where they'd say something as absurd as like only white people get benefits or something like that, like I guess I'd go back to a point where we would say that.
Socially saying it, kind of, but
then again, I think they would be at a level that would be too corrupt for voting to even matter. I think at that point they would, if they had ever come to a point where they could actually do that, then
say hello to the American Revolution, the French Revolution, every other revolution.
Right. And so again, we can avoid a revolution, hopefully, by
avoiding a corrupt government.
Right. By not giving them power or too much power over the citizenry.
Citizenry?
Yes. Words. This is the most I've talked for I don't know how long. So I think, but going back to the whole charities thing, so yes, individual charities and even companies have their own set standards. But luckily, again, that's part of the free market aspect, is if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a little more difficult with charities, obviously, because, you those people necessarily aren't always in that position where they can do it. But again, like, mm-hmm. if you go to Walmart and you don't like what Walmart does, mm-hmm. go to Target.
Right.
And so, I mean, if you don't like to go to Target, if Target's doing the same stuff too, you don't want to go to Target, go to a local store. Like, right. And but unfortunately,
that's the thing is that, again, going back to the trust busting thing, is that once you get these industries that have these monoliths, they eat competitors.
Yeah. And
so then you have less freedom of choice, because the market itself created a vacuum that this monolith has eaten.
Right.
Hello,
and
Amazon.
I think that's honestly, I mean, again, I think that's actually anti-free market. Mm-hmm. And
the market was free enough to allow it to happen.
True, but it's again, and that's any position you take on anything is going to have positives and negatives, mm-hmm. Because obviously everything can be taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
And so I think this is, unfortunately, to be able to live in a society that is free, where you can make your own choices, where you can start a business and it become, mm-hmm. A massive thing. You do have to, like, you are going to run the risk that sometimes something gets too big. And again, I think putting things in place to, again, like you say, like to break apart those monopolies falls under the bare necessity of government mm-hmm. influence mm-hmm. to, again, keep society free mm-hmm. and safe.
Right. But once you start nailing down to those, how much are we protecting people from blank and blank and blank? And so, yeah, you're going to have to put regulations on liquor licenses and food, and that's why you have administrations like the FDA or whatever, and then environmental regulations. And so it's like, once you go into the little specifics of like, we're protecting the public from, private companies that might abuse the public. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of little things that will happen that cause a lot more. And that's kind of how the government has gotten to this point in the first place.
Right.
Is because the free market has created problems that the government had to step in and fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that just may be, maybe or like an overall societal shift from strong moral principles mm-hmm. on things like that.
Yes.
And so I'll agree that I think that's the underlying biggest issue with, or like the cause that happened is why it is the way it is. Because we have, again, we're so detached from our communities, our neighbors, our individual pockets, mm-hmm. That for, I think, a lot of people on the left, the only solution is to have the government come in and do it. Mm. And I mean, I think it would be, I think the more of the right side of it might be, well, no, we should try to instead fix these societal moral issues and try to bring up mm-hmm. and reinforce, like, no, like these mm-hmm. are what makes society good. Like, the free and equal transaction of you, like, I need to live. Mm-hmm. I need to either provide a service or make something mm-hmm. that somebody else would like. Mm-hmm. And so then we freely exchange in a fair, equal right. transaction. So that,
why is that the base?
why the exchange is in the base.
Yeah. Why do you go, I need to live, therefore I have to make something sellable?
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to make something sellable, but I mean,
you even just
I mean,
day
at the
labor,
base-
you are selling it. You're
True.
slaving yourself out to the company.
True.
In exchange
I mean,
for commerce.
yeah, I mean, because I mean, everybody, unless you're going to buy a farm, grow your own food, make your own, unless you're going to make everything yourself, like you're going to have to do something, put in some kind of labor to help contribute to the whole society. And so that's where I'm saying, like, if you want to live, if you want to be able to eat, because unless you're making your own
Right.
food, you're going to go get food from somebody who's made
Right.
it. So then you have to have something to give them for the food. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to either, that's where, like, the free exchange of items or currency or labor is what I think is the kind of the foundation of that. Because again, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. Obviously, if you want to go and live on your own and do everything self-sufficient, like that is your choice to do that.
Yeah.
Which I think the government has a lot of BS laws about that.
You do.
Like I'm a big fan of tiny houses.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh, they got so many laws about those. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they legit will not let you like buy a piece of land and just put like your own self-sustainable house on it. I think it's absurd.
Yeah. It is.
But anyways, if you can be self-sufficient on your own, like I think you should be allowed to do that. But since most people in our society aren't, like you need to be able to contribute something.
Right.
One, just because, it's kind of a societal standard that you should be a part and help and contribute side, but yeah, to live.
Right. Well, and so I'm questioning the premise because there are people who actually can't. So, I mean, and you can go on the whole like disabled veterans, sure, but there also are just people who can't.
Right.
That have physical disabilities, mental disabilities, that are unable to provide that exchange. And why should those people not be allowed to live?
So I think at a lot of people like that can contribute in other ways necessarily than like labor. But that's where I think society needs to step in and help care for those people.
Right.
That it is part of our duty of living in a civilized society is that we should, again, like goes back to how we're detached from our communities and our neighbors and stuff like that. I mean, because, if you go back to, ways back, but if you go back to tribal times, like that's how everything worked. Like everybody contributed, if like, to like the young men, women, everybody contributed. And then the elderly, like they were cared for by everybody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's also kind of sad because, even in families, like nowadays, most people just kind of ship their elderly parents off to nursing homes. And,
right.
Again, I think it kind of comes back to just kind of a moral decay
Yeah.
on an individual and societal level.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot more defending of government than I actually believe myself, just for the sake of this argument.
Oh yeah, no, I always got to play devil's advocate sometimes.
Right. Because I'm a dirty, filthy anarcho-communist, and so for me, the solution does lie in society and culture. But we won't get there without a little bit of a push.
Yeah. And I think
push might come from different places, from different people.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the real fundamental breakdown between the two sides is where that push comes from.
And so from religious people, the push comes from here's godly morals, and that's how we want to encourage that. And I get that. I'm an atheist. And so a lot of those morals also say that I am not of value to some of the subdivisions of the religions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I know, and you know, there's obviously a lot of, again, religion itself has gotten so out of hand in general.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people would sometimes ask if I'm religious, and I'm like, well, not really. I mean, I would like to like sit there and be like, yeah, like, you know, like I believe in Christ, I believe in God, but because religion itself just has like, even like it's just got such a negative connotation behind it, because I mean, unfortunately,
so does atheism. I don't like saying I'm an atheist per se.
Yeah.
Secular
because
humanist.
I was going to say, because even some atheism is almost religion type ish.
No, definitely.
But, because I mean, you know, forget about that. But, I think I lost my train of thought again.
Right. Well, so where that push comes from to try and become a better world.
Yeah.
And how we use government to regulate both, yes, necessities for a society, but also moral problems that might need to change.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like start wrapping things up.
Right. Again, I think at the end of the day, again, this is where a big divide comes in, is because I think that it needs to be done on an individual moral level, or and then, you know, I mean, and this, you know, kind of sounds overly optimistic, but I mean, if each individual person would just go out and just be nice to other people, like, you know,
no, that's
great.
We
would live in a much better society. And I think that, I mean, that's my aspect on it. While I think there's other people, or more of like the hard left at least, thinks that like, no, what we think is moral, we will force on society by utilizing the government.
Right.
And that is something I'm strongly opposed to.
I disagree with that as well. So, yeah.
So that's another reason why I do not left lean. So,
keep in mind, I think that's my last point. Keep in mind that not everyone, I'm pretty sure most left-leaning people don't feel that way. They don't feel that they need to force these moral regulations on people. Only the most extreme of the people are the ones that are actually like, you can't say trigger words, you should go to jail.
Right. I feel like there's an increasing amount of those people, though, that it's happening.
Yes. And we should have more discussions.
Yeah. So that's because, again, videos that I watch, again, obviously they're, you know, the videos are, you know, recorded for a specific way, but I see lots and lots and lots of videos of just conservatives in general, like trying to have conversations at like rallies or something, and they're just getting shouted down all the time. And again, not that, you know, people on the right don't do that as well, but again, it's just, that's another fear I have from the left, is that there's seems to be a further push towards a like slightly more extremism gradually.
Yes.
And I think with Trump was a counter to that.
Yes.
So like towards the end of Obama's era, which again, I wasn't a huge fan of him. I don't think he was like a terrible, I think he was a good man. Like I thought he at least thought he was trying to do
his best.
Yeah. But I think towards the end, he was not necessarily encouraging, but he wasn't necessarily
discouraging
this push, and it just kept going.
Yeah.
And that hard push that came, or that hard surge, I guess, further left, then pushed to the right, and that's how Trump got into office.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I think honestly, I think it falls more on Hillary Clinton, because she did nothing. Like, I mean, like, again, Trump is a terrible candidate, but he did just, like, he was not in politics, and then he just showed up and was, like, in politics now. So, I mean, I'll give him a little bit of grace about being a terrible candidate like that. But I mean, Hillary Clinton she is the definition of a career politician, and she was just awful.
Yeah.
Like, so, but yeah, anyways, yeah, that's again, one of the big reasons why I think myself is more right. Again, just, I believe in more personal freedoms, more societal, moral
more
structures.
in common with people on the quote unquote left than you think.
And I think that there's also, like, I think it goes the other way around, because I think people, like, the right honestly has more in common. Again, both sides have more in common than anybody actually thinks.
Yes.
Again, you, like you said, I very well might be more libertarian than anything after all. But
yeah, we should listen to each other. I'm gonna, like, make some lightning statements and then plug your things. But a lot of the moral panic on the left is more social things than they are actual governmental things. And so, hey, we would like to not have someone who is a potential sexual abuser on the Supreme Court. And by allowing him on there, it's not that you're legally saying anything. It's that you're socially, culturally saying that this is okay anyways.
Yeah. And I think there's the two different viewpoints on why, like, is what's conflicting there, because from I think people on the right, their view of that is not that it's encouraging that kind of attitude. It was that they're trying to encourage the attitude that, again, of the idea that
innocent until proven guilty.
Right. And people will go around like, well, it's not a court case. Well, they're like, well, I mean, you're in the court of social.
Right. So that's why I said legally.
Right.
So legally, they're not saying, oh, he should be in jail. But socially, and that's the dissonance in the argument.
Right.
The left is making a social argument. The right is making a law argument.
Yeah, and this may come off again because, like, earlier you mentioned how the right seems to be a little more cold and heartless sometimes, and I think that just because, in general, I think the right tends to try to focus more on, and again, I don't try to mean this in an insulting way, because both sides are needed to have a functioning society. I feel like the right focuses more on logic and numbers, in fact, numbers, while the left focuses more on, like, the emotional and social aspects. So, again, both sides are needed to. I mean, I like to think that, the right's a little more half empty and the left's a little more half full sometimes, or at least, like, maybe not the left, but, like, progressives are a little more half full. Sure. And so the right's like, okay, well, like, this is how the world is. Honestly, it sucks. It's really terrible. A lot of bad things happen. And the right's, and then, progressives come in as like, okay, well, like, make it better. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, like, what if we kind of try to do this and, like, make things a little bit better? And they're like, well,
encourage these things and discourage these things.
And then the right comes back and is like, all right, well, here's the numbers for that. Like, and I think this is where we've totally fallen apart, is that instead of coming together and, like, okay, like, them being like, all right, we want to get here. How do we get here? And they're like, okay, well, here's the numbers. Here's the data to get there.
Always
put them together to try to make things better. Yeah. And that just doesn't exist. So, and it
always
sucks.
Both.
Yeah. Again, let's all just be centrists. Like,
let's just talk to each other.
Right.
Let's talk. All right. Plug your things.
Yeah. So, I guess personally, I'm on Instagram at fake Dakota Green. Oh, I'm Dakota Green. Yes, and I'm at fake Dakota Green. I thought I was being clever. Still haven't figured out if it is or not. But maybe if I get famous, it'll be funny. But like I said on the other one, I'm in a couple bands at Sweet Talkers Music, or at I think it's Catlock 7. I play drums for her. We've got a couple shows coming up, so if you want to come out and talk to me about music or other political or anything else, please do. I'm lonely.
Let's talk.
And a good time, listen to music, have some chats. I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And this has been a very nice and productive conversation. There was no throwing of things or yelling for anything.
It's amazing what happens whenever, level-headed people talk.
Yeah. So I'm Santiago Ramones.
I'm Dakota Green.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. You can download or pay for my demo, Songs with Words. You can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, or on Stitcher. Leave reviews and comments, and tell Santiago how stupid he is, or tell Dakota how awesome he is. Please don't berate my guests. But I always end my podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.